Hi everyone. So, long time ago, at least 100 years ago, there was a game called Planescape Torment. And it was about some big burly dude who wakes up in a mortuary. He is very clearly undead of some kind. He's got stitches all over him and scars, and his skin is this mottled gray. And the idea behind the game is, well, first of all, you meet a talking skull. And of course, the talking skull is played by Yakko Warner. And then then you meet all these people, yada yada, you get a party together. And you spend the game finding out who this person was. And finding out what happened to them that caused them to simply wake up in that mortuary. And the decisions you make in the present affect the past. On top of that, the game is also very, very silly. Also, you must gather your party before venturing forth. That was more of a Baldur's Gate thing. But I have updated my journal. I don't think you actually had to gather in Torment. I may be wrong. But anyway, this game is supposed to be the spiritual successor to that. But when I played it about 5 years ago, it seemed very dour. It's very, very dramatic, rather than the silliness that is just flowing through the original Torment. Now, the other day, my partner was looking at books from a developer whose name is currently escaping me, tabletop developer. And they had put out a pamphlet on consent in gaming, which is a very important thing. And I was looking through their website at their books and found out that they are the creator of the Numenera setting. And so I mentioned that I had tried playing Tides of Numenera before, and Mox suggested that I try again, but also have something on backup, just in case. Monty Cook Games, thank you. Also, yes, not sponsored. Hi, baby. So we're going to give this another try. And if it doesn't work, maybe I'll play Pac-Man for a bit. Sound good? I mean, either that or I could try the later levels of Village Mercenaries again. That game gets, honestly, the Mercenaries mode in that gets honestly really hard, and it's weird because it's called the Mercenaries like in every previous game, but you only get the one character, Ethan. So I don't know why they decided to continue calling it the Mercenaries. Alright, with all that said, let's get started. I've also got the options of Black Book, which is pretty fun. I could do a couple runs of that. I'm not very good at it. It's a deck builder, which isn't a genre I am particularly good at, but I like doing them from time to time. Yeah, it's Ethan all the way down. I was very disappointed with that, because Mercenaries has usually been a variety of characters. You don't even get to play as Tofu, and that's pretty lame. So Zoo was setting this up for me the other night, and the game just straight up crashed when we used windowed borderless gaming to transform it from windowed mode to borderless full screen. I think I just hit the wrong game. Yes, I did. I accidentally opened up Black Books, because I was just talking about it. Here we go. Torment. But this game just straight up crashed, trying to convert it to borderless full screen. It said something about there being a no resolution switch available. And I think it's because the windowed 1920 by 1080 puts the entire window on the screen. Sorry about that. We often forget that the phone is near the microphone. Well, that's the thing, is the Duke doesn't, as in Mercenaries, the Duke never addresses you as Ethan. They just use his most generic voice lines. So I get the feeling that that maybe at one point there were other characters to play as. Ah, Hunk, is it? A fitting name. Ah, Tofu, is it? A, fitting name. Those would both be very good. Anyway, we're gonna play this. I got a... Oh no, it's locked my mouse to the window. I got some minor guidance so that I wouldn't get stuck trying to do things. One of those guidances was how to build a character that's going to be relatively effective. Will you be female or male? Well, if those are my only choices. You know, I happen to be an excellent chef. Oh god, it sounds so threatening when he's talking to Tofu. Your mind wakes in darkness. Aching cold sets into an unfamiliar body. A distant howling surrounds you, louder with each passing second. How's the audio balance so far? Insistent and invisible hands slap and tear at the membrane that protects you. Your first emotion is an involuntary and formless panic. You feel you've forgotten something. Something important. As if it once meant the world to you. But the details slip away as you grasp at them. You force your eyes open. Oh, there's a narrator that I can barely hear. What the fuck? I'm using the default audio settings. Except I turned voices up a bit because for some reason they were lower than sound effects. So yeah, apparently I should have turned them up quite a lot more. Okay, you can hear the narrator, that's good. Look at this body.
Wait, you are wearing a form-fitting suit of some dark material. You recall that you were wearing something much more elaborate a short time ago. You have smooth, light brown skin, 5 fingers on each hand, 5 toes on each foot. Good muscles, strong but not bulky, and slim hips. Your palms are soft, as if they have not done much labor, but scars and burns on the hands and wrists suggest that you haven't always been careful. Why can't you remember this? Without warning, the cocoon that surrounds you shreds and tears away. You are falling. Above you, a small moon is slowly collapsing in on itself. The world is many kilometers below you.
Let's try to judge how far it is to the ground.
You'd guess that you started at least 100 kilometers above the ground, assuming you fell from a dying moon, that is. You've been blacked out for some time though, and now it looks like you're perhaps 50 kilometers up, maybe less.
Let's try and stabilize the fall.
You spread your arms and legs, and they respond smoothly. A strange sensation. Since you realize this body is new to you, the spinning and tumbling stops. The wind still howls past your new ears, a vast roar that deadens a part of your infant mind. Water springs unbidden to your eyes, the tears torn away by the wind. Through the haze of moisture, it is difficult to see. But if you focus your attention, you may be able to make out the details of the world.
So, I also want to know what kind of character we're gonna play on, like, a social level. I'm thinking I can either go goody-goody or complete piece of shit. But we just played Resident Evil 8 as a complete piece of shit. So maybe goody-goody would be, you know, more interesting. A good change. Just be nice to people. Being a goody-goody isn't a bad thing. The KOTOR genders, yep. You can either try and talk people down from murdering each other, or you can literally pick them up and throw them off a cliff. BioWare. Yeah, they didn't really get rid of it. No, it actually got worse as time went on. Let's try to remember what happened.
You don't seem to have any other option. You close your eyes to the world below you. Ignore the rushing of the wind past you, and concentrate. You remember that you were in the hallways of a place that wove itself through your blood, through your thoughts. The memories project themselves in your mind, a story told to you as if they happened to someone else. Yet it was your body that walked those halls, your lungs that breathed that air. You were running because something was hunting you, a nightmare far more powerful than you. Were you powerful? Examining your stolen memory, you know that you were. What could have stood against you? Who wielded instruments of flame and time itself? The name is on the tip of your tongue. You were... Who? Who were you?
Well, I mean, we're gonna hit the ground, probably not running. So let's not bend to the rules. Let's continue to search for the memories.
If you somehow managed to sidestep everything you know about anatomy, physics, and death, and you were surprised to realize that you do know something about them, and you survived this fall, you suspect that you might be able to reawaken a dormant strength you sense inside you. But who could possibly survive a fall from this height? You remember reaching an escape tube, and you remember being struck by a tendril of force, and then the fall. The fall. You open your eyes in time to see a riot of color around you, your descent barely slowed, and then agony flares throughout your body as a crunching impact destroys you. The last thing you hear is a rapidly cycling line of energy, and then...
So I guess that's game over. That's the whole game.
darkness.
Thought they said light brown skin. I am so pale.
Ready.
Can't stand in that.
I'm going.
All right, no narrator here. Jumbled thoughts cloud your head as you study the empty bowl before you. Drops of liquid fall from the ceiling, spattering on the ground next to the bowl. The light from every drop is reflected in the bowl's rounded hollow, as if it hungers for that light and needs to be filled. That's what she said, yet the bowl remains dry. Another drop falls from the ceiling and splashes across the pylons. Wasted. See? Wasted. That's what it says when you get a game over in Grand Theft Auto. The game ended. Might. Well, we only have regular... We just have 5 stats. Or 3 stats of 5. Let's examine the bowl. You trace your fingers over the slippery, overlapping scales that spiral up from the bottom of the bowl. The sharp-toothed rim plucks at your skin. It's going to be tricky to move this bowl without slicing your fingers on the edge. You might have to put some effort into it. Reflected light streaks across the surface of the bowl as another droplet falls from the ceiling. Examine the bowl again. The slick, overlapping scales have sharp, hungry edges that nip at your flesh. Each shining drop of light from the unseen ceiling seems to linger in the bowl's polished depths. Let's leave it alone for a second and see if I can do anything except get my hands cut to shit. Doesn't look like it. Oh, wait. Examine. Metal waves roll over the floor below, sending vibrations through the soles of your boots. No, that's it. I guess I have to cut my hands to shit. The illusion of choice. But thou must. Hi, beekeeper. Numenera has been a fascination of yours as a tabletop RPG. I only just learned the tabletop setting, technically. Like, I knew in the back of my mind it was a setting. But, it was only brought to my attention, like, in the past day. Alright, let's move the bowl. You've encountered your first task. You have 3 stat pools, might, speed, and intellect that you can spend to increase the chances of success. This is called using effort. To more easily move the bowl in front of you, use left click to spend might for a higher level of effort. Don't worry if you fail this task. In Torment, failure often results in interesting outcomes. You carefully take hold of the bowl, avoiding the teeth on the serrated rim. With a deep breath, you move it over the glowing pool of fallen light. Monty Cook Studios has a somewhat tumultuous history with the product line. Huh. I'd be interested to know more. This game has always fascinated me as it has the claim of being the spiritual successor to Planescape Torment. Drop by drop, the bowl fills, ripples spreading over the blurred outline of your reflection. A pale blue luminescence stretches into the corners of the room. A clear radiance spills across the segmented floor, washing away the nearest shadows and pouring into your mind, melting the ragged edges of your fragmented thoughts. You are not whole, not yet, but you have begun to heal from the damage done in your long fall. A voice calls out from somewhere high above, beyond the reaches of the spreading light. Hello? Are you still alive down there? We're up here. Build a path up to us and be careful. I guess I built a path up to them.
I'm ready.
Made a really big splash when it released, lost momentum, regained with a revision of the books and a breakdown of some of the more complicated stuff to options. Huh.
Yes.
Bit bar in the way of the talkie bit. Okay, let me fix that. I guess I gotta put it on... Whoops, not that. Gotta put it on here. Right, it's just gonna have to go in between the title, I guess. The bit bar's been sitting at 0 all month, so it's not that big a deal right now. Let's just put it there. It doesn't look great, but it's not distracting or anything. As soon as you touch the orb, a memory floods your mind. You stand in front of a rusted door. The air is humid and dank. Dank. You've had a moment's respite from this waterlogged hell, a bubble of stale air, your resting point. You've breathed water before, and you've lived decades beneath the waves, but this body's an air breather, and the constant pressure has been crushing you ever so subtly. Worse, your companion's mind seems to be wandering from the task at hand. He's a genius with machines, as you well know, but now he seems distracted. The device in his hands is covered in knobs, wires, and antenna. He believes it can get the two of you through the corroded door, but he's merely staring at it. Perhaps he's lost faith in his invention, but that's hardly your concern. This mission cannot be delayed. It must proceed. So I can be a dick, be a huge dick, or try and fix it and probably fail. Alright, we'll cast a spell, an esotery, to fix the device myself. You mumble a few words, drawing power from the air around you until a solution appears in your mind. You snatch the device from his hands, rewire it, and shove it back at him. Oh, he says, examining your work. Sorry, I was trying to improve the thing. He waves the device at the door, and the stale air of your bubble freshens as the door swings open. A dark hallway lies beyond, a passage that links the water-bordered cell and aquatic viewing areas. What you seek lies there. Moments later, you're underwater again, your hands closing around a strange yet familiar object. You need it to complete something. It hovers above a pedestal, rotating in the dark water. An electric current runs through your fingers as your hand crosses the vertical plane of the pedestal, and an iridescent field coalesces so fast that the wave of pressure dazes you for a moment. Someone had a thesaurus. The rising pulse of a sonar alarm ripples through the water. The guards won't be far behind. Nothing wrong with flowery writing, mind you. Let's disable the sonar pulse. Bounce the graviton particle beam off the main deflector dish. You focus on the cloudy base of the pedestal. Your fingers instinctively find the control panel for the jeweled field almost as if you had built it in the first place. You remove it, casting it to the side, and you reach inside to deactivate the crystals that power both the pulse and the pedestal. As you remove them, a scaly hand falls on your shoulder. Your head whips around and you see only the inky blackness of a Piscean eye. The memory begins to fade, as if you were being drawn backward through a tunnel, and you hear more pylons rising from the pit. Something is wrong. The events within the orb have settled into that gap in your mind, but the edges of it are rough, as though the memory itself is not truly yours. There's something else. A gust of sour air pulling at you, like a predator inhaling the scent of its prey at the far end of a dark, whispering field. All right. Well then.
I'm ready.
Countless scratches and wounds mar the surface of the door. Someone made a great effort to get inside to no avail. The light around the door's frame dims and flares like the roaring fire in a high wind. No sign or symbol tells you what might be behind this enormous door. A dull chill radiates from its bronze segmented surface, and the thick metal wheel seems frozen into place. That's wild how they seem to have it on screen exactly long enough for me to read it every time. Hi, Bad Road.
Yes, now.
Yes, now. Right. Am I Ed McMahon? You stand beside a woman on a verdant crag. Beneath the two of you is a broad plateau towering above the overgrowth far below. Strange machines have been built into the cliffside, presumably for reconnaissance or defense. A metallic disc gleams from the center of the plateau. Your self-aware humanoid machines drill into the base of the cliffs below. If you were looking for a sanctuary, and you were, desperately, this seems like the right place. There's just a lot going on. I don't know about this, the woman says, her voice flat and neutral. Her face is turned away from you. What makes this place any more secure than the other ones we found? So we can draw our attention to the hidden details with a more experienced eye. Manipulate her. Or convince her with the wisdom of my superior intellect. No, let's draw on experience here. You shade your eyes against the bright sun so that you can point out the thin bands radiating out from the metallic disc. I like this fuzz effect on the screen. How the energy from those bands affects the local fauna, suggesting an enormous source of prior world energy. She thinks deeply. It's geologically sound. Have you run the sounding samples and checked the strata? No major caverns or weaknesses showed up on your resonance scans. She waits for your affirmation and says, "All right, I'm convinced." The two of you sketch your plans for the sanctuary, drawing schematics and architectural diagrams. Then you descend onto the plateau to examine the open ground. The woman suggests having one of the servitors Build a shelter for your time here. You try to draw one of the constructs away from its task, but it doesn't respond to your voice. When you lay a hand on its shoulder to reinforce your command, it whirls back and strikes you across the face with inhuman speed. It turns back to its task, ignoring you. Don't fucking touch the robot without asking. It's common sense. They said they were self-aware. Your companion helps you rise, laughter in her eyes. It seems your construct has other ideas. What's the matter with it? Overwhelm their behavior malfunction, examine for mechanical faults, or look for a deeper solution. Perhaps it's an effect of the metallic disc itself. Thank you, Bad Road. A mist falls onto the plateau as you wrap a fiber shielding mesh around the construct's skull. The mesh powers up, protecting the construct's mind from any transdimensional emissions that might be in the area. Taking a deep breath, you repeat your command. Acknowledged. It obediently trundles to the site of your new shelter. It's basically like giving the robot medicine, I guess. The image freezes, then fades, and you feel the memory filling the gap in your mind, block by jagged block. You stagger, clutching your head, reclaiming your memories hurts. And once more, there's something else. Hairs lift one by one on the back of your neck. That is a powerful image right there. Hairs lift one by one. Something beyond this room can sense what you're doing and is hunting you.
All right.
This mirror looks strange, as though what you see in it is real and you're the reflection. Is that not what mirrors are supposed to look like?
Yes. I'm going.
That's a serious question.
Of course.
A vision of a city springs up around you, your city in flames and under attack. Her defenders have fought and died all day, and still the attackers keep coming. They fight as if your destruction were demanded of them. They care nothing for mercy, surrender, or plunder. What they want is blood. No? Okay. But you have brought a keen-eyed companion to the top of the tower. She has seen the way to stop the invaders. You need to get her to safety, and you need to rally your defenders. But even as you turn towards the door of the tower, two of the attackers descend from a hovering machine. You don't have time to strike at them before they land. One is brutishly large, his weapon a vibrating axe. The other is slim, sheathed in glassy armor and holding a hilt with a sizzling invisible blade. Oh no. Oh no, we're watching a Star War. Your companion backs away. She's too young to help. Your enemies advance single file, confined by the parapet. Apparently one of the party members in this can't help in combat, but she's got a really interesting story. And I don't know how to get any of the party members except for the first one, which we get a choice between two different people, and I'll let chat decide who they like better. Trade blows with the giant. You can handle it for at least a strike or two. Duck under the giant's swing and attack before he can strike, or fight defensively and figure out who presents the greater threat. I think we're gonna duck under his swing and attack before he can strike. We're gonna be fast. You roll under the blurring arc of his axe. He's overconfident, testing you without committing to the attack. Yes, he's fast, but not as fast as you are. And when he raises the great axe above his head to finish you, you're able to bury your blade under his breastplate. The blade emerges from the back of his neck, and his life's blood washes over your hands. He falls, taking your weapon with him, and his companion attacks. Her invisible blade is far more lethal than the giant's axe. You duck as she thrusts at you, and the wall behind you hisses, destroyed. Her return swings cut through your armor, ruining your breastplate. She doesn't have to be skilled with a weapon like this, she just has to make contact. You time your attack just as she pulls it back for another strike. You barrel into her, driving her over the wall, and she drops screaming to the ground 50 meters below. You build a character in this one. It's another game on the Pillars engine, which you should be familiar with, Bad Road, since I know you've played Kingmaker. The immediate threat ended. You focus on finding a way back to your allies. You open the tower door and rush down the stairs. The door at the base of the stairs is slightly cracked, opening just a bit into the hall, and you hear more of the enemy soldiers beyond. Wonder how you get into recording audiobooks for money. I could do that. Let's see. We can charge through them, counting on my defenses. We can crack the door open and sneak past them. Or we can hurl ourselves against the door to knock them to the ground. I think we're going to try and be sneaky, because I know that my build is going to be speed-based. You press yourself against the gleaming door, easing it open, and your breath catches in your throat as it squeaks quietly, the sound like a bell in your memory. You pause, but the soldiers in the hall continue to talk. You push again, squeeze yourself through the narrow opening, and creep down the blood-stained hall. The memory begins to fade, and you find yourself back in your own body. Your temples throb with the racing force of your heartbeat, and the reclaimed memories blaze within you, like a bonfire on a mountain peak, visible to every predator for kilometers around. A tremor rocks the floor beneath you, as though a massive fist has struck the room itself. Swaying on your feet, you see frantic movement within the borders of a mirror at the edge of the room. Alright, let's get out of here. The border of this mirror is lavishly decorated with a dizzying number of interlocked symbols. Daggers, masks, paintbrushes, amulets, and more. But that's nothing compared to what you see in the glass. You see a vast crowd of people, exact doppelgangers of you, shoving, arguing with, and fighting each other. Most are drab imitations of you, but a precious few are vivid and pull at your attention. Each of them bears an intricate pentagonal tattoo on their head. In their eyes, their actions, you see the memories you discovered within the orbs and the choices you made shining like distant stars. Your hand twitches at your side, and though some of the bright doppelgangers ignore you, an even smaller number immediately turn to you, waiting for you to choose them and learn what you might become. A rumble shakes the room, and the slow vibration spreads from the darkness below, rippling toward the ceiling. Let's point at the doppelganger, slipping gracefully through the mob. I believe Grace was one of the choices. I gotta look through this again real quick. Skills, party members. Let's go with Grace. The doppelganger darts from the crowd, leans out of the mirror, and gently pokes your nose. When you try to do the same, it deftly leans out of your reach, laughing. It chuckles, waiting for your decision. Yes, that is who I am. The remaining doppelgangers scatter for the edges of the mirror and vanish. Your chosen identity steps forward. Its appearance changes as it steps out of the rippling glass. Its face exudes intelligence and confidence. Shadows of several devices shimmer all around it, technology of several kinds from a myriad of past ages. You get the feeling you would be comfortable with all of it. The word nano sounds in your mind. Gain the descriptor graceful. Your doppelganger continues walking, stepping into you, filling you, making you whole. Your decision rings out into the cavernous room, awakening and unlocking the vast mechanisms behind the walls. Suddenly, a grotesque noise rings through your shared worlds, like a bell if bells could rot. Something is coming. The mirror fades, leaving a dark open doorway. You take a deep breath and step through. Your choices in the memories and the mirror have begun to build your character. But now, you have the opportunity to decide on a number of details. First, you can decide to change your type. Type defines the abilities and skills you'll be able to acquire as you advance. Alright, where is... See, I really wanted to go Jack. It's the thing. Jack and Nano are both interesting. According to the things I was reading, Jack isn't really a jack of all trades, like is claimed. But rather can play in one of two ways. Training level, inability. Oh, I can do quick fingers, okay. So let me look at the Jack build real quick. I didn't want to go Glaive. Glaive is primarily fighting. Jack's speed build and speed intellect hybrid build is what I wanted. So we split between speed and intellect, and then strength should be lagging behind. Alright. You want to take trained without armor, and be sure to get infused weapon. Alright. Frisbee, what are you huffing at? It's just people in the house next door, not our house. Alright, so we're gonna go Jack. Alright. See you later, Beekeeper. Stat pools are the resources you can use to apply effort or activate abilities. You can distribute points as you see fit. Glaives tend to favor might or speed, while nanos favor intellect. Jacks usually benefit from a balanced set of points. Alright, we're doing speed, intellect, hybrid, so that's going to be 8 points in each of those. Next, abilities. Frisbee, stop. That's next door. If you hear a dog bark... Okay, that is not next door. What the fuck? Okay, it was next door, but he's right by the fence moving trash cans around. So that's why it sounded so close. There's nothing to worry about. Frisbee, it's okay. Chill out. It's okay. I know, that's scary sounds, huh? It hailed today. I stepped on some hail when I stepped out on the porch. Alright, let's see. Abilities unlocked by your type can be active actions, such as attacks or spell-like esoteries, or unique passive effects. So we want trained without armor, and infuse weapon. Gain plus 10 evasion and willpower when wearing no or light armor. Infuse weapon. Choose a damage type and then make a weapon attack. Deal weapon damage of the chosen type, along with bonus effects based on the type. Alright. Exploration skill. Most skills increase your chance of success on specific kinds of actions and tasks, but some give other passive bonuses. Each skill starts at the novice level and can be increased to trained and specialized, granting greater bonuses at each level. And I guess anything that's red, oh, it says it right there. Descriptors often leave some skills at the inability level, meaning they inflict penalties. When upgraded, these return to the novice level. but I don't need heavy weapons or smashing. Alright. We're limited in our choice of weapons since Jacks have no access to weapon skills. You will mostly use light early on and medium as you progress. Weapons that use intellect for their effort are extremely rare, but one that you should definitely consider getting, especially if you lean more towards intellect than speed, is Whispers. If you plan to play a counterattack Jack, hey, counterattack Jack, that's what I was thinking. It's advised you use a ranged weapon, as this will allow you to attack anyone who misses you, not just in melee range. Ooh. Choose any sort of armor you like since you can have access to all types without penalty at tier 2. That's a decision that'll need to be made at the very start of the game. Light armor hybrid Jacks can add over 150% evasion and 120 willpower, so that sounds good. Let's see. Do we need a skill for light armor? It doesn't say anything about what skills to take, which is kind of weird. Alright, recommended to use either light or medium weapons. Yeah. There's a lot of stuff to character creation as the thing. 15%, okay, only usable in crisis. What? Inability confirms 15% penalty. Slinking through the shadows offers a few opportunities to evade or surprise enemies. Yeah, I like stealth. Just in general, it's something I enjoy. How do I undo that? Oh, okay. Because I can only have one exploration skill. Perception? I like perception. That sounds good. Intimidation. Plus we get quick fingers automatically. Initia's... Oh, anamnesis. I was told this is generally important. So let's start with anamnesis. I like perception because that's how I see and possibly hear, depending on the system. That's true. So anamnesis gives us plus 15% bonus per level on difficult tasks marked with this skill, which is accessing memories of previous consciousnesses. So that sounds like a good thing to start with. Only glaives receive training in weapon skills. Descriptor. Although you chose your descriptor from among many doppelgangers in the mirror, you now have the chance to view the specific bonuses and penalties it grants. You can also examine the effects of other descriptors and choose a new one if you wish. So, good descriptor choices for a Jack are cautious, observant, rugged, stealthy. Okay. Oh, that's for the speed build. Clever, rugged, observant, strong-willed, and graceful. Clever grants extra intellect and willpower, which is good for a new player. Rugged will make you more tanky. Graceful will increase your speed, which is again good for a new player. And observant and strong-willed are great if you're unsure what to pick. Yeah. I mean, we can be graceful. Yeah, let's just stick with... Well, let's look at, like, cautious. That adds perception and stealth. Lowers initiative, though. Let's see, what's rugged do? Endurance, lore natural, resistance. Observant, perception. Yeah, what? Observant or cautious seem like good choices. That gives us perception and stealth. Observant gives us perception and concentration. What does concentration do? Every equipped bonded artifact confers a negative effect. Bonded artifacts equipped to the first slot. Okay, so we actually want to get... we actually want to get concentration because bonded artifacts are really powerful. Also, in this light, she actually does have brown skin, so that was actually an effect of the lighting, which was really strange. Let's see, is initiative tied to speed? That's a good question. Where's one that has initiative attached to it? Observant, rugged, slick, stealthy, deception, endurance, intimidation. Doesn't look like any of these actually add to the initiative skill, so I'll just click back a couple times. I think cautious is probably our best bet, though. Initiative allows the character to act earlier in the turn order, a measure of reaction time and situational awareness. Prevents enemies from getting the drop on you. So, not tied to speed specifically, but probably most of the checks for it will be tied to speed. I think that's how that works. That only gives bonus intellect is the trouble. Cautious. Graceful. Might as well go graceful, I guess, because that prevents our... Yeah, and that increases speed as well. So yes, it is tied to speed. Yeah, I think graceful is good. Are you sure you wish to proceed? This is your last chance to change your last capped-off's character type or descriptor. Not 100% sure. I like concentration. I like having concentration there. I don't know if we're going to get artifacts right away, though, or if I can add that. Or if I can wait till later to add that. I think we'll start this way. No, you know what? This is what we're doing. I don't need smashing. We're gonna go with what we picked in the mirror. I can be graceful when I'm not falling over. Codex entry unlocked, the labyrinth. Everything about this spectral figure seems dreamlike. He's a hazy silhouette who seems to be made of blue glass smoke. He wears stylish, well-cut clothes. His handsome, bearded face seems hauntingly familiar, though you've never seen him before. He breathes a sigh of relief when he sees you. We weren't sure that would work. We pooled our strength and channeled it through me to reach you, to wake you up. He glances at the other figures here and frowns unhappily. It took more out of them than we thought. The other reflections, they're more like shadows now. Look, I'll bet you've got a lot of questions. This whole place is basically your mind. Your body's still out there in the real world, healing from that fall. You need to get out of there and finish the process. He shrugs. It shouldn't be too hard. If this place is my mind, why don't I remember this? Any of you? It's your mind, a construct built... I don't know. Share thoughts? Store your true self? Wait, you know how people say in the first place? This is definitely the first place of your memory. Well, it was the first place for me anyway. You'd probably know better since it's yours. If you don't remember now, maybe it'll come to you later. Great, I've got a Cheshire cat. Who are you? He pauses to look down at himself, considering a long time before answering. I'm you. I'm a part of your mind, a splinter. I was waiting here for you. We called you, with the memories of the others who are here. I don't know what happened next. Before I met you, it felt like something was hunting me. Do you know what it was? He closes his eyes. That's a memory I don't want to recall. Large, black, furious. It's our death. It's the sorrow. He closes his eyes. I hope it's lost interest in you. If it finds us, we're done for. You said you had to finish the process. What do you mean by that? After you wake up from this dream state and attune to the tides, you'll need to find something called a resonance chamber. Your body should have landed somewhere near it. Just climb inside that and everything will be fine. What do you mean attuned to the tides? Tides are like a force, like gravity or magnetism or something, except they respond to people's actions and perceptions. Your body, that is, your body in the real world, needs the tides to survive. It's not something you need to worry about. Your body will attune as it wakes up. What's a resonance chamber? We're just learning all the things. This is our first exposition dump. I remember pieces about it. Not the whole. It's a crystal sarcophagus. I remember it having 5 mechanical arms around it and a metal ring set in the floor. I think we were aiming for it when we fell. When you open your eyes in the real world, it should be nearby. Is this gonna just be the Surge? Am I playing the Surge? Who are those other people? You called them reflections? Unlocked. Reflection. That's what they are. As I said, it's your mind. You'll find reflections of people you knew, people you met in the real world, and with whom you shared some kind of psychic connection. I don't know how or why. It just happens. They did try to tell me I was a nano. That's true. How do you know all this that you're telling me? He throws up his hands in frustration. I'm just a part of you. I look at you and I know. This place was made for you, for us. This hole, it was made for me. And I remember pieces of technology. And I remember pieces of knowledge that come to me when you ask your questions, but that's all. So how do I get back to the real world? There's a portal down there. It'll take you back to your body. Just step through it and the whole tides thing should take care of itself. He crosses his arms. When you wake up, find the resonance chamber and activate it. Then we can... What the hell is that? Oh good, tentacles. God, it's the sorrow! Well, this person is dead. The sorrow is anchored to those reflections. It's devouring their power. It's devouring their powering. We have to get rid of them. Destroy its anchors, or else the sorrow will erase us forever. Crisis initiated. Kill the reflections anchoring the shadow to your mind. A crisis begins when you enter into a dangerous situation. Crises are turn-based encounters where you can fight, sneak, manipulate the environment, or talk your way out of trouble. Each turn, you can take one action to attack or activate an ability. You can also make one move. That reflection near you, kill it. You'll loosen the sorrow's anchor. Use left click to attack an enemy or move to a position. Try clicking the highlighted character now. Effort can be applied to attacks to increase your chance to hit. As with other tasks, each level of effort increases your chance by 20% at the cost of 1 point from a stat. Unarmed attacks use speed, but other weapons and abilities may use might or intellect instead. Yeah, that's right. Punch it. What the? It's escaping. It's going to hide inside your mind. Now run. Get to the next one. Well, clearly this isn't working, so why are you telling me to keep doing the same thing? Never mind. You can sacrifice your action for the turn to double move instead of attacking. The movement preview line turns purple when over a position that requires a double move. So, very XCOM.
Yes, now.
Kill the reflections, anchoring the... Okay, it still says the same thing. When you apply effort to an attack, it also increases the damage you deal. Different weapons and abilities gain different amounts of bonus damage from effort. Bonk. You've already used your action this turn, and you'll need to wait until the next turn to deal with another reflection. You can move somewhere to spend your remaining move, but if you want to end your turn early, you can click the End button in the lower left. What's it doing now? It's infecting it somehow. Fetals are temporary conditions or status effects that can improve or reduce a character's stats. The Sorrow has just placed a fetal on the remaining reflections. You can't remove the fetal, but you may find a way to overcome it. Hi, Socks. Zero damage. That's not gonna work. The armor stat reduces physical damage. The fetal the Sorrow placed on this character has boosted its armor by 10, meaning it will absorb 10 points of damage from each attack. The Reflection's armor is now too high for you to overcome with your unarmed attack. Skist, the Reflection is protected somehow. You need to find a way to hit it even harder. Even harder than punching. Impossible! Grab that piece of mirror glass. It might have enough residual energy to kill the Reflection. Oh, I'm gonna stab it with some glass. Good. To pick up loot, use a left click on the highlighted object, then click Take All or double click the individual item you want.
Yes.
To activate an item, left click on the item's icon in the bar above your portrait, and then click on the character you want to target. Just in case you forgot who you want to target. Oh, I gotta wait till the next turn, huh?
All right.
Alright, stab it with broken glass. It's fine. Says choose an enemy with left click, but it's not working. Consumes action. I'm clicking. Why is it? Oh. Apparently I had to click higher than usual because I had an item equipped. That's weird. I had been clicking around the feet. And there I had to click on the higher body, which is odd. The Spectre, you pry to... Oh, wait. That's the name. You pried it loose. That thing is a cancer, an infection. It's unstoppable, but you stopped it. Mood. He holds his head in his hands. I can't believe it found us in here. He looks at you, terror in his eyes. That thing, the sorrow, it's been hunting you. It's what killed you in the first place. It'll keep hunting you until you activate the resonance chamber. I didn't remember until I saw it, but that's why the chamber is so important. You have to get back and activate the chamber before it's too late. The portal to your body is that shimmering dome there. Go, now!
I'm going.
The whole thing is clearly a metaphor for depression. Little bit clumsy.
Where did she fall from? Her body's smashed to talk. It's a wonder she's still breathing.
All I saw was the corona, not her origin point. But look, she's healing already. Spontaneous regeneration.
What was that? What did you do, Kalisteg? Kalistege? His tone has become accusatory, suspicious. You open your eyes. The first thing you notice is this man's kaleidoscope of tattoos, writhing across his forearms. He wears a long, dark coat, belted at the waist, supplies filling the pockets. His boots are worn and stained with years of travel. You blame me. She emitted an internal physiological reaction in response to the fall, probably related to that fantastic healing process. Obviously, Allegern. Her voice rolls and hisses, and you have to rub your eyes to be sure that you're not seeing double. Faint echoes of her actions trail from her, each nearly mimicking her. Though some act and react to stimuli that you can't perceive, her vivid hair and outrageous clothing remain constant through these shadows. Gain the item Mind-Forged Plating. Oh, yes, it's obvious, Castellige. His voice is grim and clipped, and he sees you looking at him. You're no ordinary mortal, we know that much. Start talking. His face is hard and set. Who are you? Who am I? Who are you? Legacy has shifted. Dormant tides changed. If you don't remember who I am, you're more self-centered than I ever imagined. Silver Tide raised a tiny amount. You know she's not the changeling god, Allegern. It's her face. I've never seen any other people rebuild themselves like that. Only the changing god could have healed so quickly. He sighs and rubs his face, trying to regain his composure. Maybe you could help me for a change. You know what this means to me. The fuck is this? The fuck is that? The fuck are you? The fuck am I? You're familiar with the word changing, Allegern. It implies inconstancy. Thus, the changing god may have changed. Several versions of her shrug, and she addresses you. You'll have to forgive him. He believes you're someone he once knew, even though it's painfully obvious to anyone that you are newly born. Her most solid self curtsies while the others bow or spin. I and my sisters am Castellige. This is Allegern. We are explorers, knowledge seekers, and that's how we came to be in this room. If I'm not mistaken, you are what we call a cast-off. The changing god created you, body and mind. Your sire used your body for a time, then abandoned it for reasons of his own. When his mind departed for a new experience, you were born in his cast-off shell. Oh, fun. Who is the changing god? Ha, that's something. That's something coming from you. She gives him a sidelong glance. The changing god is your sire, dear. He discovered a path to immortality long ago, a means to transfer his self to a new body of his own creation. I don't think he knew, however, when he abandoned one body, another mind was birthed to fill the void. Oh, he knew all right. He eyes you up and down coldly. The only thing the changing god cares about is himself. He doesn't give a single thought for those he leaves behind. I actually kind of like them both in their own way. If you know the changing god through my body, then why do you keep referring to my sire as he? Because I know not to judge what a person's gender might be based on their outward appearance. We know your creator through legend and research. He's taken the form of men, women, visitants, and other things. His form is fluid, as his name suggests, but the stories about the changing god always refer to him. We're sentient snakeskin. Oh no, you're right. It's easier, Aligern shrugs. You are a woman, the changing god is himself. That was a weird conversation and kind of uncomfortable. I hope shit like that doesn't happen again. I didn't like that. Gender, other thing. Before I woke, I was in some kind of dreamlike labyrinth with a glowing specter. Just so you know, with how hard you hit the ground, I'm surprised that's all you saw. So, where are we? What is this place? A sanctum of your sire's. The common belief is he has several such places throughout the Ninth World, possibly other worlds as well. We were only just able to gain entry to this one because of your grand entrance. Are there other cast-offs? Dozens, hundreds, who can say? Your sire has been doing this for several centuries. Started on the wrong voice there and just kind of morphed it over. Though if all of them were born the way you claim to have been, it's a wonder any of them survive. If falling from the sky didn't kill me, is there anything that can? An excellent question. Having seen your regenerative abilities in action, I suspect they are primarily physical. A regrowth. If that's the case, you'd be unable to survive most varieties of psychic or molecular decomposition, disintegration, conflagration, and so forth. Degenerative diseases could pose a problem, and I know of several entities capable of psychic destruction. As she speaks, a vision flashes into your mind. It's not yours exactly. Somehow you know this is a memory of the changing gods. You're in a dark room, lit by a myriad of blinking lights and holograms from many machines surrounding you. About a body that can withstand the sorrow's attacks, says a voice. It seems to be coming from one of the machines. No, you reply. The thing has no respect for barriers of any kind, physical, temporal, psychic. This is the only way. Did you know that this can be read in the TMNT voice? Oh god. Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, or Mighty Morphin Lizard Princess, does fit the TMNT structure. With a series of gestures, you bring up an image of a crystalline pod. If the resonance chamber works, it will give us the power to stop the Sorrow's hunt once and for all. We just need the right focal point. I should be doing this in a British accent because this is clearly the Doctor. The memory fades. Castellage is still thinking. You realize that the device you saw in the memory is identical to the one behind you now. It looks like the Spectre had described it, a transparent sarcophagus inside a crystalline dome, with mechanical arms arrayed around it on a metal ring. Unfortunately, the dome is shattered, the sarcophagus is cracked, and one of the arms is in pieces on the floor. Whatever its function, it clearly needs repaired. Oh, I should probably dismiss this. Or flesh-eating viruses. One presumes disfigurement by the iron wind would likewise be devastating enough to... I like Castellage. I like her a lot. Plus, it appears she's part of a trans-dimensional plural system. I think she gets the point, Castellige. I wasn't really paying attention. Can you go over it again? I saw a vision of myself in another time and place just now. You didn't happen to see that too, huh? I saw you stare into space while Castellige graphically described all the ways you could die, but that's about it. He snorts. I only noticed because I did the same thing. Do either of you know about the sorrow? I've had my share of sorrows, but never the sorrow. What's that, a disease? Her mouth compresses in a tight line. I know nothing about it. So, you say I was born when the Changing God left, but why am I not dead? I used a cipher to slow your fall further, but the damage still would have killed an ordinary person. But think about it. If you're the kind of person who can make your body into anything you want, what do? If you've constructed bodies for centuries, you want to make each one better than the last. You want to live forever. You're not going to let your life end by accident. No, you'll make strong bodies, fast, powerful. Maybe you throw in regeneration, for instance, while you're at it. The Changing God has always been vain. He rarely stays long in a shell that doesn't suit his self-image. She looks you up and down, her smile suddenly unnerving. Perhaps the Changing God fled because he didn't want to wear those scars of yours. If the Changing God abandoned my body, where is he now? If he abandoned your body, then his consciousness fled to another. He eyes you keenly. Oh, do stop! The look she gives Aligarn is equally piercing, amplified by the withering glares of her sisters. If there's one thing we know about the Changing God, it's that he always has a contingency. This child was born here. The object of your obsession will have been reborn somewhere else. How can you be sure this body's a cast-off? You mean aside from your miraculous reformation? For one thing, there's your tattoo. All cast-offs have one, though its purpose is beyond me. Then, of course, there's your delicious naivete. She could be faking it. You don't live hundreds of years without learning to lie convincingly. Oh, she sighs in exasperation, then says to you, what do you think? Are you a newborn child, or are you a powerful immortal whom death has robbed of his memories? Aligarn crosses his arms and growls. Fine, what do you think? Okay, so here's a big decision. I survived that fall, I have skills and powers I don't recall. What if I am the Changing God? Or, there's so much I don't know or remember, I think I must be a cast-off. Or, you obviously knew the Changing God, Aligarn. What do you think? Am I him? Or, I honestly don't know. What do y'all think? Someone give me a suggestion here. While I take a drink of this water and my dummy, my ventriloquist dummy talks on my knee. I'm slocked. I don't have that option. I don't have that option, or I would. Two or four, says Christy. I feel like 4 is more effective. I mean, we legitimately don't know. Okay, so yeah. Looks like 4 is a good way to go. I honestly don't know. He forces a smile onto his face and pats you awkwardly. His brow remains furrowed, though. You don't know. Perhaps we can talk about what you do know. Alright, so his attitude just abruptly changed from that response, so I think that was a good one. Hi, Andy. She laughs scornfully. She clearly knows enough to evade your clumsy accusations, Aligarn. You have nothing to go on but bitterness and bias. He looks away. His composure slips a little. Gods, you are so rancid sometimes, Castellige. What was that blast of energy when I woke? As I was telling my colleague, It was obviously a physiological reaction of some kind. I've never witnessed the birth of a cast-off, but yes, it could very well have been caused by your nascent consciousness. Don't worry, I don't believe it caused any real harm. Well, not to me, at least. Really? You've been more abrasive than ever since we came in here. He shoots her a sidelong look. So these two are clearly a couple who has broken up. He shoots her a sidelong look. She just can't empathize with other people unless she's experimenting on them. Fucking straight people. Are you sure the surge didn't hurt you? If it did, it was damage in our minds. Though how you'd check if it... Wait, if it did, it was damage in our minds. Though how you'd check if it carked her, I couldn't say. Tough to find normalcy here. Oh, Stefan Urkel. That was when Jaleel White was just playing himself. At least we know it didn't hurt Allegern. That skull's as thick as organic stone. Do you know anything about the tides, and can you please stop bickering? I've heard that term before, a subject your sire studied in great depths. I'm afraid it isn't my field of inquiry. I want to ask about something else. Of course, child, you must be so disoriented. Do either of you know how to fix that crystal chamber there?
I'll remember that.
Oh no, I'll remember that. Yeah, I agree with that, Christy. Allegern chuckles. Then, firm and certain, he says, I'm having a little bit of a hard time telling between the gray text and the white text. I'm glad I turned the font size all the way up, because I would not be able to read this otherwise. I have 20/20 vision, but my brain doesn't work in tandem with my eyes properly. Not likely. Though it might not be impossible. You need people with the appropriate knowledge. I'm sure the cult of the changing god will hold the answer. Her distaste is evident in the expressions of her echoes, although the face of the one in the lead remains carefully impassive. Dogs, chill out. They're very excitable today, but they're not being super nervous or anything. You do want to take him out? Alright. There you go, baby. He's calm enough now to not dive over me. Frisbee, you gotta sit, baby. Good boy. You'd turn to the help of a newborn. You'd turn to the cult. There we go. You'd turn to the cult to help a newborn. Where's your judgment, Allegern? I would take her to the Order of Truth. The Order of Truth? Geez, really going at this one, huh? Alright, I'm gonna read it as written. So, CW for some ableist wording in here, which is, it's common ableist wording. I hate that it's so ingrained in the language. The Order of Truth. Are you mad? They'd sooner take us apart. So, what's the call to the changing god? Despite what she says, they're not insane, they're eccentrics. She laughs, but he soldiers on. They're worshippers of, well, you or your sire, the changing god. They devote their lives to understanding your kind. So, what's the Order of Truth, then? Knowledge seekers, the learned who try to wrest secrets from the hearts of prior worlds. They gather in the city to exchange their findings and help humanity to build a brighter future. She smiles brightly. Our friend Allegern here was once one of them. You're okay, Risby. They're okay. They're just outside. Frauds, quacksalvers, charlatans. They don't have all the answers, and I'd not trust them with the changing God's secrets. You are just angry that they couldn't help you with yours. Her echoes tinkle with laughter. But I'm being too cruel, dear Allegern. Let us take our new friend to the Order. So... here's where we choose our party member. Do we want to go with gruff old Allegern? Or do we want to go with, Castellage and her system of sisters? Like, mechanically, they're both, like, all the characters are pretty balanced except one. So, we're going for story stuff here. Allegern or Castellage? Oh, right, I just remembered. How do we make a poll? Here we go. I'm going to do a poll real quick. We haven't done this in forever. Which party member? Yeah, the sound turns off when I tab out of the window. I've been saying Castellage, but it's Calastige. Whoops. It won't let me put a longer... It won't let me put a long answer for the poll. It's very limited. Alright, duration 1 minute. So, poll starts now. Alright. Put in your votes. You don't know enough about what's happening to have an opinion. Well, so far we got 3 votes for Calastige, and no votes for Allegern. I think I know how this is going to end. Oh, 1 vote for Allegern, 4 votes for Calastige. Right, about 20 seconds left. I had completely forgotten about the poll function on Twitch. So we haven't used it in literally years. Allegern seems lonely. Alright, and at 4-1, we have chosen Calastige. Calastige, will you take me to the Order of Truth? Of course. Once I provide an introduction to the priests, we'll have your chamber fixed in no time. He wants things from us. She'd like to study us, but he's being pushy about it. I like Calastige, but I do want to know more about cult stuff. Alright, well, of course. Once I provide an introduction to the priests, we'll have your chamber fixed in no time. You'll end up without your clothes and broken in a ditch while she laughs it off as a good experiment. It's probably best I come with you as well. Suspicious as always, Allegern. Child, the world is an exciting place, but it's full of dangers. Rest assured, one of us will get you safely to where you need to be. I'll be right behind you. A sunny smile crosses her faces. Why do you want to go with me? What's in it for you? I won't deny that you're an exciting find, but it's not just about that. I just want to see you safely out of the reef. Kid, you're not safe here, and not just because you're new. Treasure hunters trawl the reef, scavengers who would sell you for parts if they knew where you came from and what you were. Alright, let's go. We've gained your first companion, so apparently they're both going to come with me for a while. But we're going to stick with Calastige when the time comes. They will follow the last cast-off and can be controlled during a crisis. You can speak to them about their past and take advantage of their unique abilities and skills. Companions have their own motivations and personalities, and depending on the choices you make, they may not follow you forever. You'll find more companions who can join you as you travel through the Ninth World. Take this opportunity to explore your surroundings. You may find items, equipment, and more to assist you. When you're ready, you can leave the broken dome using the stairs to the northeast. Hey, we're getting to play now. We're only an hour and a half in. Oh my gosh. Alright, let's check out the machines. That was fun role-playing stuff. I'm just making a joke. Sunlight falls through the ragged. You may hear Gaston clopping and sneezing in the background. He's very happy today. I think he's feeling better because he's on some antibiotics. He got an infection in his gums. Which, yeah, me too. Chill, baby. You're okay. You're okay. You're a good boy. Sunlight falls through the ragged hole in the roof onto the shattered resonance chamber. It's hard to believe that you did this, that you plummeted through the curve of the pale blue sky, crashed through the dome, and broke this delicate machine with your own body. It's hard to believe you're still alive. 4 mechanical arms hang over the center of the device, above the cracked, semi-transparent crystal of the sarcophagus. The 5th arm lies broken on the floor among the scattered synth and crystal shards, and a metal ring surrounds the array, dented and broken by your impact crater. Let's examine the shards on the ground. Jagged fragments of crystal are intermingled with synth from the shattered dome above. The crystal shards glitter in the light like captive suns. Let's pick up one of the crystal shards. At the rim of the crater, you find a sliver of crystal, sharp as a dagger on one end and smooth on the other. It might make a usable, if somewhat crude, weapon. Excellent. Look for other useful shards. You sort through the remaining pieces of crystal, but they're too small or unwieldy to be of any use. Let's take a look at the sarcophagus. The padded interior beneath the coffin's cracked lid looks like it was made for a human body. Despite the damage, you don't see any way to open it and get inside. You glance between the sarcophagus and the needle-like protrusions at the end of the arms above. It seems likely that using this chamber would not be a pleasant experience. Examine the suspended arms. Cables run from the machines along the dome's walls to the base of the suspended arm, each of which is capped with long needles aimed at cracked coffin-like chamber at the center of the platform. Gem-like lights flicker dimly at the bases of the arms. Is there a sarcophagi inside? Not today. A memory steals over you, and it isn't yours. Sunlight falls through the unbroken dome, casting a short, angular shadows behind the servitors laboring to construct the device you and your assistant have designed. Their efficiency is perfect. After all, you designed them as well. The components are nearly in place. A ring for bounding, a platform for focusing, and 5 injectors, 1 for each tide. It's a moment before you realize the memory has faded and you've spoken aloud. Inspect the metal ring. You feel the slightest hint of resistance every time you cross the ring. And now that you're paying attention, you note your breath is echoing in your ears, as though you were inside a glass dome. When you step outside the ring, the feeling passes. Alright, let's look at other shit. Hey there, friends. Sarcophagus here for Sarcophagus's Caskets and Urns.
On my way.
On my way.
Fine.
A slate black. Hey, baby, it's not time to play right now. No. You can play after the stream, okay? Hey, no. Baby. Gaston, quit. No. Here, let me calm him down real quick. All right. Now they're a bit calmer. Thank you, Risby. Risby's really taking the lead on this. He's a good boy. As Gaston slows down as he gets older and tireder, Risby's starting to take the lead on more stuff. A slate-black, unimpressive device hunkers before you. As you reach out to touch it, the triangle of lights on its casing blazes into life and an image unfolds in your mind. A towering crystal arch rises over a jagged gray landscape. The air is dead and stifling, and there, at its emerald peak, the image collapses, leaving you staring into the device's triangular array of lights. Command me, the device, or the intelligence within it, says, each word carefully etched with distaste. Who are you? Your command was not understood, the intelligence says with clear satisfaction, sounding for all the world like it understood the question but is choosing not to answer. Command me. What was that arch you showed me? Your command was not understood, the intelligence chuckles, its light pulsing. Command me. What commands do you recognize? The three lights throb irritably. Heated air sighs from the device's vents, and then a towering list of commands races through your mind, far too fast to read. You rub your eyes, groaning, and the intelligence chortles. Command me, it says smugly. This is how I feel when I am trying to fix computer. Well, I can't smashing. I'm very bad at smashing. Show me that list of commands again. Slower, please. If anything, the list pours through your mind even faster than the last. Command me, the intelligence drawls. Show me that list of commands again. Slower, please. Okay, same thing. Show me the arch again. The device's triangle of lights throb in time with the growl of the engines within its casing, and the mental image unfolds once more. You see a huge crystalline arch on a jagged field. The arch is divided into rectangular cells, all of which are numbered, and they also appear to be transparent and empty, except at the arch's pinnacle. One cell is lit in a brilliant, pulsating emerald. The number 0 is printed on its side. Aha! Anamnesis! Try to remember more details about this strange place. 95% right off the bat. Excellent. The memory blossoms. You stand before this arch, eyeing the last 2 active cells in once more impenetrable Lugamvo. Unleash Cell 29, you say, and a twisted artifact appears before you. You claim it with a faint smile, watching the light fade from the cell far above. You flinch away from the memory, and it falls apart as you raise your eyes to the arch as it is now. Cell 29 is dark now. Only Cell 0 remains. Examine the jagged wasteland. Dry grit whirls across an empty plain. Many kilometers beyond the arch is the faint outline of what seems to be a broken tower, except that it is slowly stretching into the gray air. Blah. Examine the jagged wasteland again. Far beyond the arch, the broken tower reaches for pale, red-threaded clouds. Let's close the image. You release your mental hold on the image of the arch, and it collapses, returning you to reality. Command me, the intelligence says sulkily. Unleash the contents of Cell 0. You found a cipher. Ciphers are Numenera objects that can trigger a powerful effect, but can only be used once. Ciphers and your cipher limit score are displayed in a special section of the inventory screen. Take care not to accumulate more ciphers than your cipher limit, or you will experience unpleasant side effects. Okay, so we have to... It's encouraging us to use this limited stuff by making it so if we have too many, we get fucked up. Cell 0 will now be unleashed, the intelligence spits. Please be advised that the object you are about to receive is completely safe. Use no caution whatsoever. The strange contents of Cell 0 materialize before you. Unstable detonation. Warning. All cells are now vacant. Shuddering Lugum Vo. The intelligence's lights wink out, one by one. Gained 3 XP and unstable detonation. It's completely safe. Interesting that a cast-off can command the changing gods' machines. He crosses his arms across his chest. How do you do that? Castellige rolls her eyes at Allegern. Then she looks to you. He'll never stop gnawing on this bone, you know. The truth is wasted on him. She gets a glint in her eye. Though I admit curiosity, how did you do that? I remembered something. I don't think it was my memory, though. Residual memories of a past consciousness. Truly fascinating. Your HP will decrease if you have more than 10 megalixirs. Yes. Oh, don't act like you know what that was. It's just as likely the machine triggered something past her amnesia. She gives you a meaningful look, then mimics teeth gnashing like an animal gnawing on a bone. Yum, 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 yum. Crackle. Tiny glowing motes float through the interior of this tower. Each one is surrounded by much smaller motes, like thousands of worlds circling their suns. The flexible tubes that are attached to this machine appear to be later additions. Someone cobbled the device together, but its function is unclear. Let's check inventory. Unstable detonation deals 6 energy damage, 4 physical damage to all characters in range. Ouch. Only usable during combat.
Forward. Onward. Forward. Onward.
Good. Alright, okay, here we go. Your inventory lets you view, equip, and manage items and equipment you find. It has a number of sections. First is equipment, which contains any items equipped to the current character. Equipment includes weapons, shields, armors, ornaments, such as rings and amulets, and bonded items. Backpack contains items being carried by the current character. You can equip, inspect, or transfer items. Quest items contain any special items required for quests. Quest items can't be discarded or sold, so you don't need to worry about accidentally losing one. The final section shows ciphers you're carrying and your cipher limit. Ciphers shown in the inner rings are highlighted in blue and are safe to carry. Those on the outer ring, highlighted in orange, are over your cipher limit and inflict negative effects as long as you're carrying them. You can use, sell, discard, or transfer them to another party member to get back under your cipher limit. Well, that's cool. So it looks like I can carry 2 right now. Mind-forged plating versus witch-crafted suit. 1 armor and 1 res. Versus 4 armor, 1 res. But it's medium armor, so I can't use it effectively. And the crystalline shard is equipped. So we were going to go light armor anyway, so we'll keep the wit-crafted suit on.
Yes.
Ciphers are one of my favorite things about the Numenera system. Very cool.
I need to talk to you. This is the Reef of Fallen Worlds, kid. It's a dangerous place at the best of times. And with you lighting up the sky as you fell, well, we should get out of here as soon as possible.
Why were you looking at me when you said that? Why did she not get voice acting there? I wasn't. He growls, don't be so paranoid. But when she isn't looking, he raises his eyebrows at you knowingly. Yeah, these two are gonna fucking kill each other if they're both in the party. What makes the reef so dangerous? The Numenera of the past are always dangerous, but there are other dangers too. Some closer than others. What are the Numenera? You want me to tell you? He laughs without mirth. The Numenera are all around you, everything left over from the prior worlds. Sagus Cliffs thrives by trading artifacts from ancient civilizations. Hell, you can't scoop a handful of Earth without finding drit from prior worlds mixed with it. Numenera is anything from prior worlds, but mostly we mean the stuff of value to us. A lot of the Numenera are just oddities, fancy trinkets with little real use. But sometimes you'll get a cipher that lets you do something incredible. Artifacts are worth even more. A cipher will only do something once, but artifacts last a lot longer, though they can burn out at the most inconvenient times. He frowns, not that it's ever happened to me. Hey, Frisbee. Alright, let me look, Gaston. Let me look. There's nothing. Just borking at nothing. Come on, baby. Chill, it's okay. I appreciate you borking fairly quietly. I know, you want to warn us of danger, but you gotta bork at actual danger. I opened the door and showed him there was nothing outside. I'm hoping that eventually that gets to the point where he starts to recognize what's actually like people coming into the yard and what's just background noise. Of course, we've got no idea what most of this junk was originally intended for. In most cases, it doesn't really matter. Like, you might find what used to be a propulsion unit for a star chariot, but who the hell knows enough to build you the rest of it? Better to use it as a weapon or a power source. He scowls, frustrated about something. I bet we could remake the world if we knew a tenth of the secrets of the ancients, but most days it's just a challenge to survive. Let's keep going, alright? About time. You're the one who wanted to talk to me. Alright, actually, well, first let's save the game. Oh good, it does auto-save fairly frequently. Looks like when we go through doors. New saved game. Save. There we go. And let's take a quick break. There's a civil rights movement happening around the country and the wider world. Black Americans, people of color, are fighting for something as seemingly simple as basic human rights and equality, to not be terrorized by the police who are supposedly there to protect them and us. There are ways listed here that you can help. There's the Bail Fund Network to help keep protesters out of jail, the Okra Project and the Black Trans Travel Fund to help Black, trans, and non-binary people with food, supplies, and travel out of dangerous situations, and the Black Hills Legal Fund to help the Lakota people have created this fund to help them take back their land, the Six Grandfathers, which was stolen by white people, renamed Mount Rushmore, and then had white slave owners' faces carved into the side of it. Under the second command are more current campaigns, including, of course, as always, the ACLU Racism and Policing Correspondence course. All you need for that is an email. Just enter your email address, and you'll get 4 emails over 4 weeks to help you teach yourself about how the police are not, in fact, good at what they claim to do, which is keep the peace but rather they are there to uphold the ideals of white supremacy. These are all current campaigns. It's kept up to date by my sister-in-law, Christy. Christy September in the chat, so if you need anything, or if you know anything else that needs to go here, please get in touch with her. We'll be back in 5 minutes or so. Gonna run an ad break. We have no stance on ad blockers, so we'll see you shortly. We're back. A quick reminder that all programming on Squirrel Lily is brought to you by the letter Z, the number 420, and viewers like you. I've vaped and smoked in the past. I don't do either now. I can zoom out. Let's see what's up with this shit. Two floating cones whirl and spin deliriously around each other, giggling like children being tickled. The air around them smells of sweet burning leaves. Quick fingers touch a cone as it passes. Why would I want to touch something that smells like it's burning? If you select a companion's portrait in the effort window, they can assist you in they can assist the last cast-off with some challenges. Your companion's stat pools are used instead of your own, and they may have different skills, abilities, and statistics that'll make the challenge easier. Companions cannot assist in a crisis and can only use their stats during their turn. So I've got a 100% chance. I'm good at quick fingers. I'm good at fingering. Very funny. You manage to graze one of them with the tip of your fingers. Rorn, a voice says, and your vision is stolen from you. A moon hangs over you, but it is not the one you recognize. It's black. It's black. I thought I was going to say it's a black moon, but no, I was taken by surprise. It's black and in a pearl-white sky. Thick, flat asteroids orbit it like petals in the wind. You feel questing tendrils at your ankles, and the hot wind of your face smells of scorched hair and grief. Oh, I love scorched hair and grief. They're my favorite band. Your vision returns. The cones hang motionless for only a second before resuming their giggling dance. What are you? The cones continue whirling and laughing like enraptured dancers, giving no sign they've heard you. What are you for? The cones greet your question with a split second of hushed silence, followed by delighted peals of helpless giggling. They aren't for anything. They're from one of the worlds before this one. Allegern rubs a hand along his stubbled jaw. Sometimes the Numenera will do something useful. Sometimes they'll turn you inside out, and sometimes they don't do a damn thing that makes sense. I've often said the same thing about you, darling, Castellige murmurs. Let's try speaking to them again. Childlike laughter is their only response. Let's watch them for patterns. The longer you stare at these artifacts, the more you're convinced that they turn faster when their spiraling paths cross each other. Try speaking again. Oh, alright. Nothing else we can do, I guess. Done.
Forward. Onward.
Forward, onward. Let's go. Although this cube hovers in the air, you can feel the ground shudder with its vibrations.
On my way.
Nothing over. Oh, let's look at this. It's a big thing. It's green. A matte black obelisk floats in midair above the water. It has sharp, curved sides that converge to a glowing tip that brightens or dims with the passing of the bay's faint breezes. Let's reach out and touch Faith. You raise your hand towards the obelisk. Dull green light wells from within the black stone, fixed on you like a furious eye. I knew someone who did what you're about to do, Allegern says casually. Aeon Priest. Beam came down from the top of that thing and ripped his face off. Made a fancy nightlight out of his crystal necklace, though. But hey, I'm sure you know what you're doing. Oh, hush. At least that poor priest died in service of his curiosity rather than stumbling around the coast, complaining and feeling sorry for himself. Go ahead if you must, she tells you, ignoring Allegern's glare, but do be careful. Let's stretch our crystal shard toward the obelisk. Carefully, you level the shard at the obelisk, and a superheated beam lances from the tip of the structure into the crystal, sending vibrations up your arm and suffusing the shard with a warm green glow. Power up!
Good balance.
Ba-da-da-da-da-da-da-da.
I'm ready.
All right.
We shall see.
There's so much stuff to just look at. The strange lines and rippling forms of the sunken buildings are dramatically different from the architecture above the waterline. This is a very, like, Dark Souls world, in that it seems like each world is simply built on top of the last.
Ready.
I always found that to be a really fascinating, like, idea. There's some dudes here. What's up, y'all? That's how we talked in the 90s. What's up? As you step onto what looks like the back of an enormous construct, 4 strangers approach you. In the lead is a wiry man with parallel scars running from cheek to collarbone on the left side of his face. He gives you a welcoming smile, pulling on gray gloves embedded with pulsing lights. He's about to say something to you when he notices Calestige. Carl! I thought you'd sworn off trolling the reef. Found anything tasty? His eyes travel up and down both you and Allegern. Odds and ends, Coro. Nothing that'd interest you, I'm sure. Her words are calm, but she's gone quite still. Let's let Coro and Castellige talk. Ah, Calestige. I gotta get that right. His hand curls into a fist at his side. I was wondering specifically if you had seen a falling star that landed near here not long ago. I've seen nothing of the sort, dear Coro. Her lips close thinly. What about your friends? He turns to you. I know most of the draft that scavenges the reef these days. It's a rare pleasure to see a new face. You know what? Let's just be straightforward. I'm just gonna say what I mean. I'm just gonna roleplay this as me, I guess. I fell from the sky. There was no star. I thought so. To reward your honesty, I shall be honest in turn. You have 2 choices here. Both of them are dreadful. Silver tide raised by a tiny amount. He holds up a finger. First option, you surrender to us, and we convey you to my employer for, well, experimentation and dissection, frankly. It's not pretty, but there it is. He holds up a second finger. Second option, we kill you and the old man. Try not to kill Calestige, and bring your body to our employers anyway. He winks at Calestige. Apologies, sweetness. He whirls on Calestige, his face tight with fury. You told him we were here, didn't you? You couldn't resist selling me out one more time. Are you really so paranoid? She sighs in exasperation. Darling, she says to Coro, take your thugs and go home. Otherwise, we'll have to rip you to pieces, and the world's already so untidy. Coro clenches his gloved fist, and a soft whistle pierces the air. What do you say, fallen star? I'm not going anywhere with you. Silver tide raised by a tiny amount. What a shame, Coro says and glances at his companions. Now! Crisis time! Overcome Koro and his mercenaries. Use the glowing turret or purple energy to your advantage. Talk to Koro with different party members. In a crisis, characters take their turns in the sequence shown at the top of the screen. That sequence is determined by each character's initiative. You can improve this score by training the initiative skill. Beginning to think Calestige was the right decision. If not wise, then at least entertaining, right? Not all encounters must be solved with muscle alone. Try using the Numenera artifacts nearby, or talking directly to Koro. How you choose to solve the crisis is up to you, but there will be consequences to your actions. So let's try and talk our way out of it, huh? After getting blasted. How much HP do we have? Last cast-off's turn. Right, how do we talk to him? No? Flex skill. Choose one exploration, lore, conversation skill, +1 training while active. So I click on him and it shows there's a speech bubble. Oh, talk, right click. It says it right there. I didn't see it. Take him down, Koro shouts to his colleagues. We need that falling star. Oh, I can't intimidate. Remind him he's fighting a woman who fell from the sky and survived. He can't win. Well, let's see. I can get it up to 100% pretty easily. Sure. Let's do it. Acids of the job. He tries for nonchalance, but the sudden fear is evident on his face. Anyway, it's too late for apologies. What started is done. Koro gains demoralized Fettle for 4 rounds. This is basically starting like that Zeppelin game. Yeah. Like, almost exactly like Arcanum. Alagurn's body is covered in strange shifting tattoos. Okay, so it's letting me know how each of them play as well. He can use the Living Tattoos ability to pluck a strand of ink from himself, granting him the Living Tattoos Fettle. While the Fettle is active, he gains increasing bonuses by chaining together similar actions, attacks, healing, and applying other Fettles. If he uses a different kind of action, he breaks the chain and loses the Fettle. This ability does not use his move or action, so he can activate it and then do something else. To use this ability, use left click on its icon in the ability bar above the party portraits. I mean, I kind of just want to talk to him. Let's just everybody talk to him. Oh, never mind. Living tattoos. It's like stripping a memory. They didn't tell me that. %. Oh, we can do +6 damage? Holy shit. Bam! Calestige is a dimensional husk who exists in multiple realities at the same time. She can use this transdimensional power to teleport between locations using her dimensional superposition ability. I feel like since you told them about you, you should leave no witnesses. Yeah, that's kind of my thought now. Teleporting uses her move instead of her action, so she can activate it and then do something else. Okay.
My sisters lend their strength.
Transdimensional Onslaught deals 5 transdimensional damage and confirms hobbled if the target fails to resist. Vilnick and Ilksa. Wasn't there a 4th one? I could have swore there was 4 of them. That's not a good sign. The resistance stat works the same as armor, but reduces damage from energy, chemical, mental, and transdimensional sources. Only does +2.
Something I've learned.
Ow. Rude. Tar spout. Good.
Sadly effective.
You win. Oh, there's the... I'm having a hard time making out where everyone is.
Yes, now.
Let's do this thing. There's a shallow depression in the surface here, like many others scattered around the construct. Unlike others, energy still pulses across this one at random intervals. A slight yet implacable sense of unease emanates with each wave of energy. There's a loose lens at the center of the depression. You think you could redirect the psychic effects somewhere more useful, but it'll be tricky to get it in between the energy pulses. Lore, mystical, quick fingers. Redirect the lens to direct the psychic energy at your enemies. We can hit 95% very easily. With a careful timing, it's easy to twist the lens into what is, hopefully, a more favorable position. The lens glows, warning of an impending energy pulse. The field of energy extends outward and worms into the eyes, ears, and mouths of Koro's team. Hope drains from their faces, replaced by a numb stare. Then the shallow depression becomes dark and dormant.
Get me out of here!
Let's see. Just keep attacking and it'll keep getting more powerful, I guess. Where can he move to that's safe? Nowhere, really.
All right.
He can go over here, though. Alright, let's keep up the transdimensional onslaught, I guess. Did we kill Koro? Not quite. This should take him out, though.
Another one dispatched.
We must get to Koro's corpse. The device implanted in his arm that he used to deactivate the light bridges is ungoverned. Without his input, the bridge relays are fast becoming overburdened. You know an awful lot about how this works. Is this a new trick of yours? She shoots him a deadly glare. Shut up and help disarm it before the entire construct explodes.
It is done.
The strong last panel embedded in Koro's forearm is stained in blood. Beneath it, lights and indicators flicker in time with the spasms of energy at the deactivated bridge ends. Can I look at her stats? So I would like to look at what abilities she has. Is it really not even gonna let me look while I'm in the middle of this? I can't do anything because she doesn't have her action, so... Oh, she can't teleport without line of sight. So that doesn't do anything more than just moving in this case.
With alacrity.
Ah, holy shit.
I'm hurt.
Alright.
I feel terrible.
This seems like a lot for the second fight in the game. Black Nibber.
I need help.
Events sometimes occur that can change your objective. Killing Koro has caused the bridge controls to overload, and they will explode if you don't disable them quickly. To get out of this crisis unscathed, you'll need to interact with Koro's corpse to reactivate the light bridges. Character sheet, here we go. So I have a Nemesis and quick fingers. Concentration, Cipher, and Endurance, Allure, Machinery. So he's the one who... one of them will be able to disarm it. Not me, though. Do I have a way to heal? Because I feel like I don't have a way to heal. Chemical. Ah, burned him.
It's a plan.
Lore, machinery, it's not. I don't have an action? I guess because he got knocked down? Well, that sucks. Okay, she should be able to do it. There's no purple line. Lore, machinery, or lore mystical. Here we go. 90%. Oops. You carefully examine the exterior of the panel. After a few moments of study, she discovers that an odd-looking protrusion is actually a latch. She moves it, and the strong glass panel snaps open. Inside the device, you see a gently flashing button. When you press it, the light generators hum back to life.
You see me suffer?
Jesus.
Maybe you should fix it.
Well, there's another one running away.
I can't die.
Flex skill. Fine. Alright, let's keep infusing weapons. Energy, I guess? Don't know what it does. Use up more of my speed. And end turn. Now Alagurn is just gonna wail on him. Wow, when he chains attacks together, he is very powerful. End turn. We disabled it, right? Alright, so we need to...
Without doubt.
fire on this last person, I guess. Out of range. Shit. Well, we did not succeed in getting out of range. That was a fiasco. I hope you've learned something, kid. You can't trust her in any reality. Excuse me, are you suggesting I had something to do with Koro's plans? Are you suggesting you didn't? An old friend of yours just happens to be waiting for us, armed and outnumbering us as we return from the greatest find the reef has seen in years. It's too convenient for me, too convenient by far. They attacked me too, in case you missed that. Well, they didn't kill you. Maybe you intended for them to weaken us so you could stab us in our sleep tonight. He throws a hand up, forestalling Calistige's retort. Look, I don't care. Fact is, I can't trust you anymore, and I wonder why I ever did. This is the last we travel together. I've got enough to worry about without having to watch my back 28 hours a day. He turns to you. You coming, kid, or what? Allegern, I really don't think she was trying to betray us. He snorts bitter laughter. I do. You haven't seen 1/10 of her depths. Not 1/20. She's a backstabbing bitch, mark my words. Well, I'm liking Allegern less and less. You are insufferable to the end, Allegern. Looking for the worst in a situation is the only way you know to see. Do you know how long I've carried your pain for you? How much I've had to turn away from your judgmental stares? But you're right. I've had enough. She turns to you. Child, I'm happy to guide you, but I will not walk another step with this paranoid buffoon. Finally, something we agree on, he growls. Kid, she'll chop off your head and spit down your throat. I'll get you where you need to go and let you sleep at night to boot. It's up to you. I'd rather travel with Callistege. Right, well, if you want me, and she doesn't sell you for parts, you can find me in the underbelly. But not with her, mind you. I'll let you know what you missed, Allegern. I'm sure you won't be. Missed, that is. She links her arm possessively into yours. Let's go, child. Oh, what have I done? Now that you've dealt with Koro and his goons, you can continue on to the city of Sagus Cliffs. To reach the city, cross the bridge at the north end of the platform. Before you go, you might want to take a moment to recover and search the bodies of your defeated enemies for any equipment or valuables. Well, yeah.
Yes.
You think I've never played an RPG before? Hey, we got some Shin. And Knave's card. A playing card that shows a grinning Nybovian child. When you rub your thumb over the card, it triggers an adaptive illusion that changes the face of the card, though you can't discover the trick to getting specific card faces to appear. Dominant Tide Silver. The card frequently changes to one specific face no matter how you activate it. A lone four-armed figure wearing heavy armor, plunging into enemy lines with her own army watching from afar. Huh. Spray Flesh. Heals 8 points of health. And a crossbow. Hey! I can use a light weapon, or I can use a ranged weapon now. Can I equip this in my offhand? No.
On it.
Because I am squishy. Not being able to move the camera, or rotate the camera, makes it kind of difficult to grab stuff. Shins are usually metal but can be made of glass, yada yada. Okay, so they're money. Whaler. This is a finely made armband or perhaps a bracelet for something larger than most humans. It's made of ordinary golden metal and encrusted with worthless gems. If you focus your gaze on it for a few seconds, it disappears from sight and you can no longer be felt against the skin. It can no longer be felt against the skin. It reappears at its last location once no one is looking there. That's probably useful for something. Alliterated Force heals 3 points of might. And a greatsword. Let's use this spray flesh. Cause I'm fucking dying over here.
Much better.
Ah! Oh good, it's an injectable spray flesh.
Yes. Now.
A lambent green fluid drips from the end of the device's nozzle and hisses angrily on the metal surface beneath. Without any antagonists to aim it toward, the device doesn't serve any obvious purpose.
I'm ready.
So I'm having a lot of fun with this so far. It sprays the flesh on the inside of you. Oh, God. Okay. So that's going to be it for now. Don't know if I'm going to be back later. We've dropped no frames, and I'm feeling pretty good. So I'd say there's a pretty good chance we're going to do an evening stream, too. I'm having a lot more fun with this now than I did the first time. It always helps me to read out loud. When I'm reading to someone, it feels good to read. So, here's our schedule. Let me read over it in case we don't come back. Tomorrow, Katie's going to be starting on a new game. Saturday on the Xenon Fiber channel, someone's going to be playing Kingdom Hearts. Sunday, Christy will be playing Metroid Dread. Monday, Andy on their channel, Andymonium, is going to be playing Ollie Ollie World. And then our wildcard stream is a thing that will probably happen. Tuesday, Annie's going to be playing Skyward Sword. Wednesday, Sue and Christy will be playing Monster Hunter Rise. And Bad Road will not be playing Legacy of Kain Defiance on his channel, because he's going to be out of town. Then Thursday, I'll be playing more of Tides of Numenera. And I may be playing again later tonight, as I said, at 8:30 Central. So, keep your Twitch notifications on, I guess. All right, thank you everyone for coming, and we'll see you later.